Hey Axis and Allies players, the good captain here. Welcome to a review of the German side of round 4 and the execution of Allied side round 5 in this game of Axis and Allies D-Day played against a human opponent. We left off and we had a pretty crummy attack. Pretty crummy attacks as the Allies, and things don't improve for the Allies here on this side of the turn. But they're not as crazy bad as that. But this is a very bad turn for the Allies. But let's go through the numbers. So on the German side of the turn, I'm not going to review all the moves because it gets a little confusing with the fighters, but let's just look at Con. On the Con side of the map, there are 5 German pieces in Con fighting. My opponent is going to push 3 pieces in here, right, because he can and he wants to keep the fight going. He has to go under the fighter to do so. And he ends up moving, a pair of infantry and an artillery into that city. So these 2 infantry and 1 of the artillery move in, and the fighter rolls are all misses, so they are there. Okay, and then there's some displacement of forces over here, no big deal. Okay, on the St. Lo side of the map, he has 2 slots available, and he draws 1 infantry and 1 armor from the Rheims, passes under the fighters with no issue. Both pieces make it. So that was a total of 7 die rolls and all misses. So no improvement in the dice for the Allies here. And then the Germans attack in Con, and here is a first upset, a slight upset here. The Germans were expected to give 2 hits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Actually, they were expected to give 3 hits. Almost 3 hits. Yeah. Yeah, okay, so that actually, I misjudged that. I fixed it now. Okay, and then on the shots back, the Allies hit their numbers. Rolling 6 at 2, picking up 2 hits. Okay. In the battle in St. Lo, the Germans attack. And this time they score a +1. They should have only got 2, but they pick up a 3rd hit. And the Allies shoot a -1. It should have been a piece swap of infantry, but the Germans cut into the artillery of the Allies. Okay, and then the reinforcement roll for the Allies was 8 for the British, and I think this was 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 for the Americans. So good roll here, matched by the Germans who rolled. They pick up their last 3 for the Rouen side, so that's finished, and they roll an 11 for the Rheims side. Excuse me. Now that's normally a good thing, but this is where we had the fighter blanket on that side. So 11 pieces have to fall under the fighter blanket, and in the process, 3 pieces are destroyed. Okay, and that's for a net total of the 23 fighter rolls, including those 7 on the movement phase and all those rolled for during the reinforcement phase. A total of 3 hits was made, so that's -0.83. More than likely there should have been 1 more hit there, but it's definitely possible that would fall flat. So what was the end result of all of this? The Germans scored a net -1.66. So not the best, but definitely not catastrophic there. The Allies, -6.33. That is that it might be the single worst non-first turn die roll assessment I've seen. So that was turn 4. But overall, through the game, this is where it gets kind of nuts. The Allies are now net -6.66 is what I have them at, and the Germans are at -7.5. So both sides have scored nearly equally terribly within less than 1 point of each other. So game on, right? So let's continue. Okay, so we're ready to do the fighter placement. There's no more offshore, no more blockhouses, none of all of that. So we can go straight into fighter placement. And after studying the battlefield and realizing we have 7 fighters remaining, here's what we're going to do. We're going to put 1 fighter here in Chartres right, 2 fighters here in Chartres left, 3 fighters here in Rennes, and 1 fighter here in P25. And I don't know. I think that I just didn't really want to mess with fighters over Con because there's so much AA. And when I look at the reinforcement pool, I understand that the Germans have no more reinforcements coming in these 2 sectors. Rouen is shut down. It's all Chartres and Rennes. There's still 9 pieces left, so this did leave the fighter blanket option open. In other words, whatever he rolls, I could definitely get something if at least 1 fighter survives in each of these zones. We could have made that play, but I think this is slightly more in line with my intention of capture. Well, not to divulge too much information, still early in my playing experience with this game, so I think this is my 11th game. Very early to make sure calls on strategy and what's best. However, I am willing to say that this fighter stuff, this fighter play, is probably it's not intuitive, and I think it would be the mark of a skilled opponent who has experience to play these more correctly than folks otherwise might. It's just not intuitive what to do with them. I'm still experimenting a little bit. Okay. So we've got a few AA rolls to make. There's 1 in Rennes, 1 in Chartres, so 2 rolls. Okay, we're going to roll, and I do think it's, I don't know, my feeling is I'm starting to develop one that the Allies probably need to be okay with accepting a little bit of risk, increasing the risk profile, and we lost a fighter. Blah. So we go from 7 to 6. And then we'll move to the bombers. And here I think I'm going to put both bombers on the AA guns in G6. And actually I forgot to add that math into my, the fact that both bombers missed in round 4 is a -1. So it actually is -7.33 allied for a terrible turn, making it worse. But overall, now we're both right on top of each other. The Germans at -7.5, the Allies at -7.66. So let's see if we can make up some of it. We're hitting those 2 AA guns in G6. Okay, 1 hit, and then we have 1 AA shot back. Okay, whew. All right, so we blasted 1 AA gun. So they go from 2 to 1 in G6, and we move to the combat movement phase, or the movement phase for the Allies. We'll move those 2 units off of Utah and stock them up here. We're not going to attack this turn. We move Utah Beach ashore, so that's easy. In St. Lo, we have to attack. And given the current situation on the map, I think now is, wait, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, we might lose 3. Let's thin it out. Let's put 2 infantry in there, and Yeah, and then let's go hard with the artillery. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. Try to cut through that infantry screen. Yeah. Okay. 4, 5, 6, 7. We really want to get some hits in there. Okay, and then in con. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, just keep feeding the infantry in. Okay, and then when it comes to these rear area troops, should we give up this piece of ground? I don't know. I don't know if this is definitely allowing an armor through if we do. But it would mean that we would preserve our forces. Yeah, let's do this. Let's try to hold the ground Saint-Lô. So we'll push an infantry in from this direction. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Boost that to 3 with the fighter over him. Nah, let's pull out. Yeah, let's just pull out. I don't know if that was the right move or not. I haven't played this enough. Yep. No need to move you guys. I like where you're at, these armors. You guys obviously have to go here. Bring these in. Okay. Just keep feeding Khan for the time being. Oh, and bring in Omaha. Okay. Okay. So, I think that's it. Just making sure we touched everything. Yeah. So we've got 2 battles, and we're hoping to... But now that both sides have basically had almost exactly equally terrible luck. Okay, we had 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So yeah, we hit our numbers here. It's obvious to me that the right choice is for the opponent to lose AA guns, and then so 3 back. 6, 9. Yeah, there was like a 50% chance that happened. So we retreat. Darn. And Saint-Lô. Oh, man. Yeah, I don't... Huh. Since I don't track dice in every game. Okay, well. Still, this is my 3rd game where I'm keeping a very close eye on the dice, and unfortunately, this is the 3rd game where it seems like the Allies are not can't keep their heads above water. So it's hard to see if one side or the other is imbalanced if your data pool constantly has dice leaning towards one side. Or in this case, the reason I'm saying that is because if the Allies don't hit their numbers, even whether the Germans do or not, it's an Allied loss because it's contingent on the Allies to clear pieces out of the victory cities. In other words, if you need to get hits as the Allies, you just have to. The Germans don't necessarily need to get hits so long as the Allies are not getting hits, right? Because all you need to do as the German player is have stuff in one of these circles with cities with a bubble in it. So territories with a bubble in it. So it's contingent, the game seems contingent on the Allies making hits. So a negative Allied number is just not, is my theory. And then, of course, everything else influences that. Reinforcement rolls appear to be, one of the big factors. And then, of course, land combat, what happens with land and air combats. But okay, not a great turn, not anywhere near as bad as the last turn for the Allies. So we'll have to toss it to the Germans here and see what happens. Thanks for watching this. All the best from the good captain, and bye-bye.